strategy with the NBA. I went out here, I realized that back in 2021. And I was prepping for a similar competition out of Tulane Law, and just absolutely fell in love with the stuff and started realizing that it's a lot harder than a traditional job to kind of break in. You can't just apply on LinkedIn. It's much harder to get in contact with people. And at the end of the day, a lot of these positions don't really care about traditional education and traditional breaking in. So you kind of have to separate yourself in other ways. And post Tulane, it kind of dawned on me that there aren't that many opportunities like this for students, and there could definitely be a lot more. After Tulane, I went and attended Sports Business Classroom, where Eric Pincus runs now, and I've been back every single year. That's a phenomenal program. If any of you like this and start deciding that you might want to pursue this as a career, that's a phenomenal one, but it also takes a week in the summer, in the middle of July, and you got to go up to Summer League, and it's also a little expensive too, so you really have to know that you want to do this. I wanted to try to set up something that was similar to that and complementary to Tulane, where students can come in and get a real world experience and try to pass that cost on to their schools rather than paying directly out of pocket. And that's sort of where all of this came about. Now, this whole competition doesn't happen without any of you guys, so I thank you all for coming out here. It's a really, really tough process to start, and I can't thank our event staff and everyone that contributed to putting this thing together. It's a ton of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. So with that being said, let's get into the schedule. So you guys obviously know we already checked in. We're going to go through an event walkthrough now. After this event walkthrough, we're going to break for an early lunch. The reason that we're doing the lunch so early is because once this trade period starts, it's going to be a hectic 5.5 hours for you guys. You're going to have to be running around. There's going to be a lot of movement. You're going to be checking trades. Everyone's going to be moving around, so it's going to be a little bit of a difficult process. If you're not even hungry, I might suggest just grabbing something. We'll have snacks posted the entire time, but after you guys come back from lunch, what we'll do is we'll run through a mock trade on the trade system that we're going to utilize so that you all can see it. Jeremy Paddock, if you guys see him around, he set up this great system where you're able to submit trades and then bring them to the trade checking table. And so how that'll work is after you submit one, you're going to get a 6-digit code. One representative from each team is going to bring it up to our trade checking judges that'll sit up here at the front table. We'll have the transaction log posted up here, and you'll all get a link in the Discord with a running list of all the approved transactions. So you can keep your sheets updated and keep track of who gets moved where. After the trade is completed, it gets posted to that log, and we assume that that player has already been moved. If you come up and bring in a legal trade, the judges can try to work with you, but if you bring a certain amount of illegal trades, then you're going to end up being dinged points in your final score. So please make sure that you're really checking to make sure that you're CBA legal. The rules are obviously very complicated, as I'm sure you guys are running into, and more complicated than ever. So please try to make sure that you're double checking and not just bringing trades right up. Like I mentioned before, nothing that you agreed to prior to this is real. So everything that you do now, like in terms of negotiations, is not going to be official until you actually bring it up here. It's trade checked and put into the log. So anyone can back out of a trade at any point in time. After that trade period ends at 6 p.m., you guys will all be dismissed to go and make your presentations. You're going to need all of that time to be able to make these presentations. You only have 8 minutes tomorrow to convey everything that you need to the judges, and that's how you win the competition, is showcasing your skills, your knowledge, and everything that you did to really show that you understand this and you're making the moves that you need to win the competition. At the start of tomorrow, before you check in at 8:30 in the morning, we're going to have all the presentations be due. You have to submit them in PDF format so that no one has an advantage if you end up being on the later schedule. We're going to post that schedule tomorrow as we go, so everyone does have to be in here by 9 in the morning, and that's when we'll start the first presentation. 8-minute hard cutoff, you got to get everything in. Not everyone has to speak, but you all do need to be here and present as the presentation goes. Following that, we'll do the trophy ceremony that evening, which is basically where we're just going to announce the winners. We'll have a brief 2 to 3 hour break depending on how long the presentations run that afternoon. And then that evening we'll have a catered event where we announce the winners and you guys get to network. I highly recommend you talk shop with the judges. A big reason that we had this competition is because networking with a lot of these professionals is very different when you're not talking shop. This gives you some real tangible things to talk about and honestly learn a ton. If all of us knew what we were doing, then we we probably have MBA jobs by now. There's a lot that you can learn and gather. So please take advantage of getting to know them and utilize them throughout this process. All right, so for all of your presentations, every single one of your presentations should at least touch on these elements. It doesn't necessarily need to be in this order, but you guys should hit on all of them throughout the process. And this is kind of a step-by-step sort of process on how you should be approaching this deadline. I'll be sure to send you guys the entire presentation and everything after this, so you have all of this information. But essentially, you want to evaluate your team, determine a timeline to contention, some reasonable objectives, both short-term and long-term, and you're going to want to be able to convey that on Saturday to the judges, saying, hey, we made these trades, and this is the direction that we're trying to take the team. This is what we negotiated. If you guys didn't end up coming to many trades and you were looking for something, just showcase that you were headed in the right direction and you have a sound sort of format and approach to this situation. We don't have any structure in terms of how you want to take your team. If you want to take your team in a direction that doesn't typically seem like they're taking it in real life, you're free to do that. At the end of the day, you just have to be able to justify it to all of the judges that are going to be watching your presentations on Saturday. Following that, utilize cap strategy, analytics, scouting, everything that you can to make sure that you're fully conveying, hey, this is why we did this and this is what we have to back it up. You're allowed to submit an optional write-up to the judges. That's going to be due at the same time as your presentations on the following morning. No more than one page double-spaced. This is just another way that you can convey exactly what you were trying to do if you feel like you might not be able to present everything in an effective manner within the 8 minutes. So I highly recommend utilizing that. Some of the judges asked for it last year. It's not guaranteed that they'll read it, but it's a great way for you guys to potentially get all of your points across in a more sort of concise manner and have another thing to back up all the things that you did. Like I mentioned, 8-minute hard cutoff, everything due 8:30 in the morning. That's the email that you're going to send it to. I'll send all the presentations this presentation into the Canva, or the Discord, I mean. So how's the presentation scoring going to go? This year we did a little bit more of a concise scoring. Each one of these is going to be worth 6 points. We will have 7 judges judging each presentation. They'll each go through and look at all of these categories and determine exactly how well you did 1 to 6 in their opinion. All of those will be compiled, and then the teams that score the highest will ultimately win. You guys can look through them after this. I probably won't run through them all, but if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I think they're pretty straightforward, but feel free to let me know. And then that's just based on the judges and how they feel that you did when you presented. So in terms of lunch, we're going to break for lunch now. There are a few spots around here. What we're going to do is give you guys roughly an hour to get back here, and then we'll start that demo on learning how to do all the trades and everything, and then we'll get started right after that. It's going to be a pretty hectic few hours. So thank you all again for coming. Super excited to get started, and let's see you guys back here in an hour.